Hello there, my name is Claire Avery and I'm a Navigo community member. Well, I've got roughly about 30 years experience in health and social care. I went straight from being a full-time worker into retirement, which was a bit of a strange thing really, because ideally I would have liked to have cut my days down and gone gradually into retirement. I actually came in as a patient, if you like, about 7 years ago when I drove to Kent, which is obviously quite a long drive, and I arrived there and my daughter tells me I wasn't me. So she took me to the local hospital, and at that point I was actually unconscious for 3 days and nobody knew why. I just wasn't responding. As far as they could tell, I was fine, I just wasn't responding. And when I woke up, obviously I was very surprised to learn that I'd been out for 3 days. And from there, it was quite a long process to try to diagnose what my problem was. But it certainly manifested as a mental health issue to begin with, and it went on like that for quite some time. I must say that Navigo did look at my medical health as well as my mental health, but obviously the focus was on my mental health because that was how I was presenting. And I was actually on one of the lodges, Pelham Lodge I believe it was, and I was there for quite some time, and in that time I was having medical tests, and it turned out in the end that I actually had a tumour on my parathyroid gland, which meant that I was producing too much calcium. So this took about 18 months to actually sort out. I was very unwell, mentally very unwell. I was hearing things, seeing things. I was paranoid. In fact, my family thought I had dementia maybe, because that's how it presented. And I needed very careful looking after. And I was happy with the treatment that I had on Pelham Lodge. They looked after me quite well, and I was going in between getting the medical tests until it was decided what my problem was. And then it took about another 18 months before the tumour was taken out. And I found that I got an awful lot better after then. So I think I can say it was both a mental health and a medical problem. And that's why I'm so pleased that Navigo are now having their medical roles to start to look into dual problems when people are admitted, and I think that'll be a great help for people like myself. Well, I came to be more involved because Dr. Joji was aware that I'd retired very suddenly, and although I was well when I was seeing him and coming down on my medication, he suggested that I got involved with Navigo so that I could in a way take care of my own mental health, because I found it a great help doing the volunteering in terms of getting out, meeting people. I've met some very nice people at Navigo. I've not come across anybody that was negative. They're all respectful, and I really enjoy taking part in the interview process, which I find I'm able to do to quite an extent really, which is really good, because I did wonder if whether it would just be a tick box exercise, but I've got to say it's not. You do, and I would encourage anybody who suffered with their mental health to get involved in the interview panels, because it gives you a lot back. Yeah, I like to be able to give back, but it allows me to use my brain again, because an interview process is quite difficult actually, because you've really got to focus, you've got to listen to what the interviewee is saying to you, you have to write down what they're saying to you, you have to compare it to the job and person spec and anything else. So I feel when I've come out, I've actually had a day at work, which I like, and I just feel happy when I go home that I've got out, I've talked, I've not been at home looking at four walls and getting a bit bored, to be honest. It makes me feel valued again, and that I've still got something to offer I go home feeling happy, so I feel it's a two-way process. I feel I'm giving something back, which is really important to me, and I also feel I'm getting something from it. I quite often come into the cafe now and have a drink or have some lunch and whatever. It's very nice down there actually. Well, I don't think I fully understood until I suffered with mental health problems myself, because hearing things and seeing things are very real. And you can be a worker or manager that's managed people and seen patients along with everyone else, as I did. I don't feel you have a great understanding until you've suffered it yourself. And to be in that state where you're very confused and things are moving across the ceiling and you're seeing things and that sort of thing is a terrifying process. So I feel that I can add something because I really feel I do understand what at least some patients are going through. I don't think there's anything to be afraid of or wary of, because as I said previously, I found everybody's been very respectful and kind, and I've just not had any problems. I've found the whole experience really enjoyable. So yeah, I would encourage anybody to get involved, particularly to protect your mental health, because getting out and meeting people, not being lonely, having someone to talk to, using your brain are really important.